Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 29. Have we lost anybody? Are you still out there? Can you hear us? We are here. We are back. It's been a while. How long has it been?
I think it's like we're at 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. It was the week right before the Oscars. So whenever that was.
That would have been, I think, the first week of
February.
February.
It's been a minute.
We've been gone for a while. And we apologize for that. However, we have not been gone in vain. We have actually been really freaking busy. Really busy. In front of me. And the only one down here in the basement studio is Josh.
We're alive. We exist.
For now, anyways. I am your host, Greg, the movie guy, and we are here for episode 29 of the Midnight Frightcast. Josh, why have we been gone?
Well, first, let's acknowledge that we're missing our partners. So there's only two of us. So we're gonna apologize, I guess, in advance.
I apologize for nothing. They're dead to me. They can't be here.
Just the two of us.
I'm totally kidding.
Just the two of us are the only voices you're gonna hear for the next little bit. So Patrick's off building a set for Tom.
Yes.
And Tom is off directing a show at the Haymarket Theater. Opens here soon.
I just got an invite for that.
I think it's like April 26th at the Haymarket Theater. They're doing Noises Off.
So
there's that plug.
We'll get that. Yeah, we'll get that officially firmed out here at some point. But yes,
they have a really great cast, and it's a really good show. So that's where they are. They're off because they're super busy, and I had nothing going on. So I just sit in front of this mic and hang out with Greg for a bit.
We figured we'd podcast.
Yeah. We've been we were busy a couple weeks ago, because we went out and pulled the old cameras out and decided to fire off a brand new short that kind of has a name, but I don't like the name, so I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
Because the name may change, or it should change.
The names will change to protect the innocent?
Yeah.
I like that.
To protect the film. But it was a really good time. It lives in, like, 5 years ago. I know that seems it's a really long time. But we shot a movie called Remission. Mm-hmm. And during that filming, friends of ours shot a short in that same universe called Beneath the Compound. And because I never let anything die ever, and I had nothing really new to write, decided to dive back into said universe and write like a prequel to the prequel to the prequel.
Could you consider Beneath the Compound a prequel, though? Because technically it happened in the exact same time as Remission.
Before Joseph shows up.
Okay.
So,
but that being said, because Remission follows Joseph before he shows up to the compound. Therefore, technically, it does happen during Remission.
Remission starts with Joseph before he gets to the compound.
Exactly. So if Beneath the Compound happened before Joseph shows up to the compound, and Remission starts before Joseph shows up to the compound, do you see where I'm getting here?
I kind of get it.
Okay.
Either way, we're going with prequel.
All right.
So this is kind of I decided to dive back into a universe that I'm actually a pretty big fan of. I love those characters, and the experience that we had, because Greg was on that set.
I was on for one day.
Okay, well, you were still there. Was one of the best filming experiences I've ever had, really. So, and I've had a handful, but that was really in there.
Right.
So, again, I will I was happy to revisit that universe. Write a little, ditty before that stuff went down, and we had a really, really, really good cast. A couple girls we'd never worked with. Mm-hmm. Raquel was like awesome. We had never worked with her. Raquel Rowanhurst. I probably fucked that up, but
we apologize, Raquel.
And then another one, Erin, we had never worked with, and she was fantastic. And then we had some girls that just haven't learned and they don't know any better. So they came out and worked with us again. Megan Lee Higgins came out, and she's like the best ever. And Crystal Milani, who was in Remission, came back out, and she played a really, really important part in this. So anyway, we had a really good cast. It was a really fun shoot. We did our own effects, and Patrick worked like super hard for many weeks on all of these effects, and it was not something that I would never do again, because it was a learning experience,
right?
And I would never. Patrick might punch me in the face later, but I would never say that we would not do that again, because again, we learned something and we tried some new stuff, and it was a good fucking time. So we haven't. I think I'm the only one that's seen the footage so far. So hopefully we get a chance to go back and check some of that out. And yeah. So what do you think, Greg?
I feel like with every new, and I feel like we say this every time, but that's kind of our goal when we get to these sort of things, is with every new shoot that we do, we kind of push ourselves a little bit further. And I feel like we pushed ourselves considerably this time, especially with doing makeup and effects, because that's not in our wheelhouse.
Not at all.
Gigantic shout out to Patrick, because he's
huge.
He's a marvel with whatever he does, and he did a fantastic job with everything. Love everything that he does. We're glad to have him as a part of our crew. I think the coolest thing about that, and Josh knows that I hate shooting in that house, because every time we try to shoot something, we end up shooting in that stupid house. It's
only the third time we've shot in there. Is it 4? I couldn't name the 4, but go ahead.
I feel like we actually utilized the house to its fullest.
Yeah,
which was really cool. The house that we've used is slowly, I don't want to say deteriorating, but it's slowly being deconstructed to then be remodeled, and so we caught it in a really, really bare bones,
good stage,
literal stage. Yeah. All that was up were studs, and so we got to use a lot of the.
We weren't the only studs in the house. Sorry.
Wah wah.
Yep. Right.
We got to use a lot of the different stud placements and the shadows, and I think that was one of the other cool things that we did, was we utilized flashlights as our primary source of lighting.
In complete darkness,
which was difficult coming from a cinematography standpoint. Shooting in complete darkness is very, very difficult to do. So using the flashlights really gave it kind of an interesting ambiance. And I'm intrigued to see how it turns out on the editing side. But, I feel like we did really well for ourselves. I know one of our goals was to make sure we had everybody out of there at a decent time and still get all of our stuff done. And we did that.
Yeah.
I was very grateful, because one of the nights, so the second night, I had to drive back home to Omaha.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the first night I didn't have to go very far. But I was grateful that we weren't pulling the 2-3 o'clock in the morning bit anymore.
No.
So really, really good shoot, and like I said, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah. One of my favorite things too is I like to I'm a big fan of getting under Greg's skin. So I like to write little things in every little thing that we do that references a short we did a while back that I will never ever let go of. So there's a little nod to a short we did called Emily in there, and one of the best things I thought was getting the reaction from Greg when he finally figured out that there's a line of dialogue that referenced that short. So yeah, it's just little things like that. It was a good time. I had fun. So
awesome.
That's where we've been. That's where we've been, and hopefully we have another shoot coming up here
very soon. We have to. Yes, we have to. I've got a film school project that needs to be shot, and I'm working on the pre-production, and I need to get my butt in gear, because we're cutting down the days, and I have till the end of April, or excuse me, the end of May to get that pre-production shot and cut to. I guess it doesn't have to be perfect standards, but at least once I get it shot, if I can get something cut, I can turn that in, and I'll take a C- and.
Take a C-.
That'll tarnish my perfect 4.0 GPA at this point.
Yeah.
Darn.
But,
so yes, that will be happening here fairly soon.
Yeah, and then just hopefully we've talked about just keeping the shooting consistent, because last year we talked about how far between we went shooting, and
right.
Just trying not to fall back into that rhythm again. So yeah, that's where we've been. In case you all wondered, that's where we've been. Yeah, what are we moving on to, Greg?
So our next segment in the episode 29, where we come back from the dead, is our trailer segment.
Yeah.
Josh and I watched a trailer here. I'm just going to put my phone down. I'm trying to figure out how to do Facebook Live, and I'm not intelligent.
Oh, so I don't want to Facebook Live where we are right now anyway.
Oh, good call. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I think if we went this way, it'd be kind of cool.
That way would be better than the other way.
I don't want to try to figure it out. I should have looked that up beforehand. That was my fault. Anyway, we're moving on. We watched a trailer from a movie that's coming out. I didn't catch when it was coming out. Did you?
No.
Okay.
To me, I don't fucking care.
Fair. It's a movie that's coming out in the next probably couple months. I assume it'll probably come out during either Shark Week, whenever that is, or it will come out in the Hollywood blockbuster segment of the season. We watched the trailer. Josh
August
has got
10th.
August. Oh wow, later than I thought it was.
So it's a minute.
We got a ways to wait. It's a trailer for a movie called The Meg.
Do you want to read the?
Yes, I do. I
really,
really kind of do. I haven't done LaFontaine in a long time.
Read that synopsis.
After escaping an attack by what he claims was a 70-foot shark, Jonas Taylor must confront his fears and save those trapped in a sunken submersible. The Meg.
Yeah.
That synopsis really kind of makes it sound stupid.
Yeah, this is terrible. It's a terrible IMDb write-up, really, to be honest with you. But thoughts? Let's do positive, negative, because there's two different,
There are. When I first saw this trailer, I was excited because it looks entertaining. It looks like a very popcorn type movie. Mm-hmm. It's not something that is going to completely blow you out of the water, but you'll
blow you out of the water. Sure,
pun intended. It'll entertain you. You'll go and you'll enjoy, and you'll go on with your life, and better things will happen, and you'll think, hey, remember that time I watched The Meg, and I can barely remember it. It looks entertaining as a movie in itself. Mm-hmm. One negative, I don't like the Jason Statham casting.
Yeah, it should have been The Rock or something.
Oh my god! Actually, probably should have, but I feel like Jason Statham, and this pun is intended, is a fish out of water.
Yeah.
High five up top.
Go ahead. Keep going. No, if it's a big monster movie, it should star The Rock. That should just be a general Hollywood rule now, like Rampage and Jumanji. Just anything with a giant monster, just say, call The Rock and give us $150 million. I was excited about this movie when Eli Roth was attached to it. I feel like it would have been a completely different movie. Eli Roth fought for the R rating and the original big budget that it was supposed to have. And when he didn't get all that, he was like, fuck you guys, I'm going home. Mm-hmm. I don't need this. I can make a different one. And then he made a kids horror movie. It's kind of fun. But I don't get excited for shark. The last shark movie I think I got excited for was 47 Meters Down. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm kind of over shark films like this. I don't buy it. It's like, to me, the realism of it is just not. It's going to take me out of that movie. Mm-hmm. That's what it's going to do. I'm going to see this giant shark and go, all right, I don't care anymore, because that's just not a thing. 47 Meters Down, The Shallows, stuff like that, like stuff that can really, events that can really happen. Mm-hmm. I will buy that. But this Megalodon, I can't say it, Megalodon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't get into it.
So let me ask you this, because you saw the Piranha. You saw Piranha.
I've seen Piranha. Yeah.
Okay. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, more positive than The Meg, But I mean, to me, the Piranha is different than like it doesn't take itself seriously.
It's campy.
It's campy. It's super camp. It's like watching Zombievers. It's just like it's just fun, and that's the kind of thing. Like, yeah, it takes me out of it, but then it takes me out of it and go, I can have a bunch of fun with this. That's not a movie. The Meg's not the same situation.
And that's probably where I'm going to agree with you. And that's why I don't like the Jason Statham casting, because I feel like he's going to bring too much seriousness to this. And yeah, I agree. I feel like they're going for a more serious tone, like 47 Meters Down, like The Shallows. And in this instance, this movie should be more like a, I don't want to reference it, but it's the only one I can think of, like a Sharknado.
Yeah, if it was The Expendables versus the Meg, I would watch that movie. Because at least you got a bunch of like 80s blow up stars that's gonna like blow a bunch of shit up and throw out one-liners. I can get behind that, but this I just can't.
I get
won't
it.
Be able to do it.
No, and I completely get that, and I think I'm going in with like the lowest possible level that this thing is going to have.
Yeah,
because if the CG looks anything like the trailer does, I think it's going to look pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, I mean that opening sequence, that opening shot on the trailer, like when the it first comes into view and shit. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Right.
After that, I was like,
you kind of lose it. Yeah, and I completely understand that, and that kind of leads me to another positive thought of this is whatever character Rainn Wilson is playing.
Yeah, that
one they got right.
Yeah.
Take Jason Statham out of it completely. I don't want to see Jason Statham going all transporter on a fucking 90-foot shark. I don't think so. That's
reshoot it, replace Jason Statham with The Rock, and I might go see it.
I'd probably get on board with that, but I will probably go and see it, or I'll catch it when it comes out to Netflix or something there of the like, just because I think it looks pretty cool. Save it for like a Tuesday, Friday, or $5 Tuesday movie night or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I chase horror like crazy. I will not be chasing the Meg.
That's fair. Okay.
Hopefully later on, the Meg will not be chasing me.
We live in Nebraska. If there's
true.
a Meg in Nebraska, I'm done. I quit.
In Holmes Lake.
In Holmes Lake. Okay.
The Meg in Holmes Lake.
Before they drained it and cleaned out all the nuclear waste, then I would agree with you.
Actually, the Meg might be the size of Holmes Lake.
That is very true. Very, very true. All right. Joshua, what have you been watching?
It's going to be a really quick segment, so y'all might be happy.
I've got 4. I
only got a couple things on there. And it's got like, maybe you should start since you got 4, and I have to look something up anyway.
Okay. I will start. I recently started a new job. And it's kind of taken me out of being able to watch movies. Not that I'm watching movies at work anymore. ... I've been very, very busy with a lot of different things between doing some videography stuff and school and everything. I have not been able to like sit down and legitimately watch movies or even TV shows really. So this last week, things kind of finally started to let up a little bit, and I've been able to kind of take a look into Netflix and see anything that's new that's come out, or to take a look at things that are on my queue that I've been wanting to watch. And I came across a show that I've started. I haven't watched anything further past like the 3rd episode, I believe, but it's a TV show that looks very interesting. And I'm going to show my nerd side a little bit here.
Yeah, nerd.
I'm a nerd. I love Greek mythology. I find Greek mythology absolutely fascinating. I don't know why. Gigantic nerd. I don't care. I will own it. There's a show that came out on Netflix called Troy, Fall of a City. And it's a TV series, or it's a series on Netflix that follows the character of Paris from the Greek mythology story by Homer, I think it was the Iliad. Yeah. So just that, if you saw the movie Troy, the Paris character was played by Orlando Bloom. So imagine that, except 14 years later, done a lot grittier, which I appreciate. Yeah, it's been a good show so far. I feel like it's following a little bit closer to the actual mythology and the story of the Iliad, and I've liked it so far. So Troy, Fall of a City.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I've heard about and chased down a couple of movies. One was on Netflix and one was on Amazon? Question mark. It was on Amazon. Amazon?
Yeah,
it was probably Amazon. Anyway, so on Netflix, there's a movie on there called The Vault. And I avoided it. I had it in my queue for a while, and I avoided it because I was like, I guess I got James Franco, and I don't fucking care. But I was like, I was bored one night, and I didn't have anything else to watch, so pulled the trigger on the movie, and it's very little James Franco, so I was kind of okay with it. And it's called The Vault. It's about a group of bank robbers that they break into a bank and lock everybody in that is there, and they break into the vault to get all the money and everything out, and they discover that there's no money in these vaults when they the main vault when they open it. And James Franco, his character, tells them, "Oh, this is not the vault you want. The vault that you want is in the basement. That's the vault with all the money. This is how you get to it." He gives them, all these directions, how to get into it, all this stuff, how to break into it, whatever. And so they go, "Oh, duh, this is what we're here for. I want the money." So they go to this vault in into the basement, and then that's where all the shit just like breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of, I think I told you this too. It reminds me, it's got the same feel of this movie that we've talked about a lot called Last Shift.
Yes.
Once they get into the basement and they break into this vault, that is where just the whole feel of the movie just shifts,
mm-hmm.
and you get this nice like little creepy vibe to it. And they got a couple like crossing storylines. They do some flashbacks. Something happened in this bank before. This basement's got a history, so it's a really good watch if you like these like supernatural kind of like that's supernatural, mm-hmm. I guess, type movies. Then The Vault is a definite chase. So I love Last Shift. Mm-hmm. It was not as good as that, but it's definitely in that same that wheelhouse. So
it's probably better than some of the stuff that's on Netflix.
Oh,
right
by
now.
far.
Yeah.
But the Francisca Eastwood is the daughter of Clint Eastwood, and she leads the cast. And I had no idea who she was. She's fantastic.
Okay.
In the movie. So, and I brought her up because I'm going to go into the second movie, and then you can wrap this up.
Okay.
Because she's connected to both movies I watched.
Okay.
She's also in a movie I watched called MFA. That's on Amazon Prime, and she's the lead in that. And she plays an art student that gets invited to a house party one night by a fellow art student and is raped.
Yeah.
And she goes to the school to report said incident, and discovers that the counselor woman that she's reporting this to likes to turn these kind of incidences into the victim's fault, and does not actually record any incidences that have happened
mm-hmm.
on this campus. And because nothing is done to the guy that she is accusing, she decides to take matters into her own hands. Not only just to him, but she hunts down all the other incidences that have happened on campus, and then hunts down all those guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she becomes this like, I don't know if I want to call it a rape revenge movie, but it's a brutal movie.
Okay.
And gave me the same feel of kind of something that we wrote, that we have not shot yet. But after I watched this movie, I was like, oh my God, we need to pull that out of the script vote and take another look.
Okay.
Because it could be brutal and fun. So that's the one. So yeah. But both those movies, chase them both because they're both fantastic.
Okay.
And she is really, really good.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Francesca Eastwood is her name, yes?
Yes, that is it.
Francesca Eastwood. Okay. I've got 3 more here. I'll just knock them out here really quick. In my search of new stuff to watch on Netflix, I came across a sitcom, Netflix original sitcom that one of my friends had recommended and wanted to give it a shot because I don't currently have any shows that I'm cycling through right now. They keep taking all of my shows off of freaking Netflix.
Is The Office and Friends gone?
Office is still there, but I've been through that. Friends is still there. I've been through that. I just finished my next round with Parks and Recreation. They're phenomenal shows, but I need something new. I need to find something new. So just kind of looking through, and I came across this show called One Day at a Time, which is interesting. It's very sitcom style, very, very campy, very corny. There's some decent episodes in it. It's not bad for a late night. Just kind of want to sit there and watch something. You don't have to really be too into it to really kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
So definitely appreciate that. What was it? Friday night, I had an evening to myself, and I came across a movie that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I find it weird that I keep falling back to these types of movies when I'm really super bored. And they're those types of movies that are just so terrible they're entertaining. And I don't know why that is.
What was it?
It was a movie called Employee of the Month.
Oh, is that the one with Matt Dillon?
No.
Oh, is it the one with
Dane Cook?
Oh, you poor guy. One of those is a good movie.
It wasn't this one. No, actually, I don't know why I enjoy this movie so much. I think, and I have a blog post coming out about this. It'll probably be next week. I think I enjoy it so much because it feels like this like something like this could really exist. Like there are actually people out there who love their job so much that they just thrive upon being named the Employee of the Month. And, there are some embellishments, obviously, because why would you want to watch somebody's boring life of winning the Employee of the Month? But it's stupidly entertaining. It's the same thing that I said about Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Stupidly entertaining. It's not a movie you have to be like fully invested in to really understand what's going on or enjoy it. But there's good characters. Dane Cook I find funny. Dax Shepard is hysterical. Jessica Simpson looks nice.
Yeah.
And Harlan Williams is in there. Andy Dick is in there. Brian George does a really good job. It's a really good cast, and it's entertaining.
It sounds like it'd be like have the same feel as. Have you ever checked out the show Superstore?
I think I've heard of Superstore. I've never seen it.
It's really
though.
fucking good.
Yeah.
And if you like kind of that kind of film, and it's a little. I feel like it's a little improv-y. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got this improv-y kind of feel to it. I would check out Superstore because it's. I didn't think I was going to get into it. It's really, really funny though.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out. And
I think that's on Hulu.
I do like Dane Cook as an actor. I feel like he's a good comedian, and I feel like he's carried that over into the acting realm, and he can really pull off some decent roles.
Yeah.
He was in a movie called Good Luck Chuck with Jessica Alba.
He's kind of fallen off the map a little bit.
He went like bye-bye for.
Well, after he got caught stealing all the Louis C.K.'s material, I think he went bust.
Oh, he was jacking Louis C.K.'s material? Oh.
The Louis C.K., who, has his own problems. But he on his show, Louis, they referenced all Dane Cook came on it. He starred on he went cameoed on the show as himself.
Uh-huh.
And they had a whole back and forth episode about how Dane Cook was stealing his material.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It's too bad, isn't it?
That is too bad. Even still, I think he's done some good stuff.
Yeah. So I like Dane Cook.
So yeah, watched Employee of the Month, and then Saturday night, Emily and I had some time to chill, and she wanted to watch a movie. And because I've dragged her and made her watch more movies than I can care to imagine, I kind of had to let her pick one.
Yeah.
She picked the movie Bad Moms.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Which I never really had an interest in seeing, only because I feel like everybody's going into this, like, bad Santa, horrible bosses, bad moms.
Yeah.
Let's focus, or bad teacher. Let's focus on people being terrible at what they should be good at. And I wasn't totally interested, but again, I kind of have to let her pick a few movies from here on. So, but I really appreciated it. It was a great cast. Mila Kunis did a great job. I love Kristen Bell. Catherine Hahn is hysterical. Christina Applegate actually plays a really decent antagonist.
Yeah.
It was a decent movie. It was a very decent movie. I was
You can check out Bad Moms Christmas.
That's on the radar, I think. Question mark. So that's kind of what has been in my wheelhouse.
I owe Elizabeth like 12 movies. So
that seems oddly specific.
I've taken her to a lot of movies that she's like kicking and screaming, and then she's like, "Oh, I gotta pick the next one," and then
you take her to another one.
Yep. So I am in debt quite a bit.
Fair enough.
So let's hit our feature film for the night.
Drum roll. Waiting for somebody to pull up the synopsis so I can read it in Don Fontaine voice.
Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for
No,
me.
I've actually got it on my phone, but I can't.
It's right here.
I've got it too.
Oh, cool.
All right. We both watched the movie recently released as was it this Friday? Last Friday.
It came out a week ago.
So it's still pretty fresh in the gate.
Yeah.
A Quiet Place.
Yes.
A Quiet Place.
Yes.
A family is forced to live in silence while hiding from creatures that hunt by sound. Rating 8.1 out of 10 on Instagram. A Metascore of 82. And the tomato meter reads
95.
Thank you.
Sorry,
I can't read upside down.
Oh, sorry.
95 on the tomato meter.
Yeah.
This movie is getting a lot of good press.
Yeah.
It's
deservedly so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. So, let's just break it down and we'll try to do spoiler free as much as possible because it is a week old.
I think we can do this movie spoiler free.
Yeah.
I think there's one piece in it that really is the big spoiler part, but it's the rest of the movie we can talk about, and it's not gonna give anything away.
No, it shouldn't kill anything.
Wah, wah.
So let's talk about John Krasinski first. Because that's how you say his name, correct? Okay, I thought I fucked it up, and I was like, I'm going to look really stupid, and I don't care. Let's talk about John Krasinski first, because he was the writer, the director, and why did you stand up?
I'm standing up because I want to talk about John Krasinski.
Okay, cool.
I'm excited to talk about John Krasinski.
The star of this movie, although a ensemble movie, so I guess you can't really say a star, because it really was an ensemble cast. Mm-hmm. John Krasinski was the standout, kind of. So since Greg is standing up, I'm going to let Greg just
I am standing up because John Krasinski is one of the standout characters.
Okay.
Only because I absolutely love John Krasinski. I have loved him since I saw him in The Office. He's a phenomenal actor. He's been doing some phenomenal work. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen him in, I think it's 13 Hours.
I've never seen him in anything besides like one episode of Jim from The Office.
Oh my God.
Nothing else.
Follow John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And everything that he does, he just puts his heart and soul into it, and you can tell that he does that. And I'm so excited that this movie is just blowing up. I didn't know that he directed it. I didn't know that he wrote it.
He's a co-writer on it. So there's 3 writers on it.
Close enough.
And he actually was the 3rd credited writer.
Okay.
And from what I understand is he was just like an input. He's more of an inputter that was given a writing credit.
Even still, he is such a phenomenal talent that really anything that he touches is pretty much gold. I'm going to sit down now because I'm done showboating. But still, John Krasinski is rising in the ranks as one of my favorite talents in the Hollywood regime or the Hollywood land right now. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I said I don't know him anything from anything beyond Jim from The Office. Apparently, he's done a lot. I just don't know him from anything. If somebody goes Jim from The Office, I kind of get it because I saw one episode of that. But it's interesting because he's a comedic actor who has stepped into a genre that he's not known for.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first question I have kind of is what is with these comedic actors crossing over into these darker roles? A la Jordan Peele, who did Get Out and then won a fucking Oscar for Get Out. What is with, like, how is the crossover happening?
I don't know.
Where do they come from?
We should ask Will Ferrell. Oh, that's right. He only does the same role over and over again.
But for an actor who's known for comedic roles, he crossed over to a genre and then fucking killed it.
So look at like Robin Williams, because he did that a lot. Like he played jump rope with comedy and like darker roles. And I feel like if you can do comedy and you can do comedy really well, you can put a dark spin on it and it becomes a darker role, obviously.
Yeah, but it was not like a photo booth where he played like a creepy, weird character. This was he was very human, very real character, just in a dark scenario. Yeah, go ahead.
That's kind of my theory. Is if you can do the funny, you should be able to do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Again, I can't speak too much to that because I'm not an actor myself, and actually it'd be great if we had Patrick here tonight to kind of talk a little bit more about the actor side of it, and I'm sure we'll talk to him at some point. But it to me it shows the mark of a great actor that they can step outside of where they became famous, where like John Krasinski became famous with The Office, which is a straight comedy. There's nothing more about it.
Yeah.
And he can walk into a movie like 13 Hours and do a war drama, or he can step into A Quiet Place and do a suspense thriller horror type movie. And it's he's talent. He is pure talent. I will rave and I will pitch and I will love on John Krasinski until the day I die because he's just a fucking phenomenal talent.
So let's jump from him to his wife, real life wife, Emily Blunt.
I'm going to stand up again. No, I'm just kidding.
Again, I say, Greg said John Krasinski was a standout actor in this, but this was really an ensemble film.
It was.
Emily Blunt was fantastic as well. Again, I don't know her from a lot of stuff. And then the kids in this movie held their own with both these actors far beyond their years. And the girl who played the older daughter, I recently found out, it was actually like right before I went and saw the movie, is deaf in real life. She is deaf in real life.
Really?
The way they communicate in the movie is all through sign language. So the whole movie is pretty much subtitled. And I think she was very beneficial to have on set because of the sign language thing they had to do throughout the movie. But she was really, really great. And again, the younger son was fantastic. And then let's talk about that opening sequence really quick, where they're doing the hunting and the gathering. I'm pretty sure that opening sequence wrecked Elizabeth. Did you take Emily to this movie?
No.
Okay, I did take Elizabeth. I did force her to go. I'm pretty sure it wrecked her.
Okay.
Within the first 3 minutes of the movie, she was just like destroyed. And then it only took 3 minutes for her to lean over and tell me how much she hated me for bringing her to this movie. And you knew when, from the opening sequence, how this movie, like, it sets up a holy shit movie. It had the same feel through the whole thing. Had you on the edge the whole time. Go ahead, Greg.
I kind of want a pigtail on that. Pigtail?
Pigtail, yeah.
I want a coattail.
Pigtail's good. I like
Either
pigtails.
one, whatever. This movie had tension from minute one. When they were in, I don't know if it was a pharmacy or if it was in a grocery store, whatever kind of shop that was in.
Yeah.
You know, you go in and you kind of know the premise, but you don't really get sucked in until that first minute when you see them walking barefoot in the middle of a store.
Yeah.
And then they suck all the sound out of the movie. And there's it's a phenomenal soundtrack, but it's minimal. It's a very minimal soundtrack. And exactly like you said, you are on the edge of your seat. Like I went with my old roommate Adam.
Okay.
We saw that. He was eating nachos. I was eating popcorn. I seriously, I was like hesitant to chew my popcorn because this movie was so quiet. And you're just like, I don't really know what I should be doing right now.
It's not. Well, I'll tell everybody really quick too. Since you said that, go see A Quiet Place. First of all, second of all, it is not a popcorn movie.
No,
at all. It's not a snack movie. It's not a oops, my phone went off movie. It's not a whisper to my friend to my left movie about how uncomfortable I am right now. It is a shut the fuck up and just listen to the noise. Because any little bit of silence that is broken in that movie will suck you out of the whole movie. I walked at the end of that movie down the set of stairs to leave the theater and saw a full tub of popcorn because I'm pretty sure somebody had the same feel as you did. Once they took that first bite in the middle of the silence, they're like, "Oh shit! Everybody's gonna hear everything."
Guy. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the make of a really fantastic movie is that it's not the acting, it's not the story, it is the atmosphere that they set up in that movie that just takes you and sucks you in. And I loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm reading my notes here. Use of silence is deafening. Tension building from minute one. We already talked about the cast being stellar on all levels. Yeah. I really feel like Emily Blunt held lead character roles.
Yeah.
While this is a slight ensemble cast, I would put. I need to look up her name because I feel bad that we're talking about her and we have no idea what her name is.
Talking about the older sister?
Yes, Millicent Simmons is her name. Millicent Simmons.
Okay.
I feel like she gets number 2 right behind Emily Blunt because I feel like the movie is from her perspective. She's deaf. She's got the earpiece, the hearing aid.
Yeah.
But the camera or the story goes into her world more often than it goes into anybody else's world. And that's where the full on silence comes from. Like right at the beginning where
when they're on the bridge.
And everybody turns around to look at the youngest child except her. She's sitting there just like, why is everybody turning around and looking? I feel like
it sucks all the noise out of that very point too.
And that I think that was it's just a brilliant piece of filmmaking right there. So go ahead with what your next thought was.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm going to piggytail off of you now. It is a very smart movie. We need more movies like this, like the Get Outs and the A Quiet Places, because they're not. There is no. What's the word I'm looking for? There's no cop outs at all whatsoever. It is like everything leads into something. There's no, like, you can't really, well, I'm gonna, I don't want to say that because I'm gonna destroy it here in a second anyway. There's very few, this is a 95% smart movie. And I'll tell you where I lost the 5%. Did you pee yourself?
No, I was looking to see how long we've been talking.
Oh, okay. You stood up and looked. I was like, "Did you go to the bathroom?"
I was looking at the time.
Sorry. Here's where the 5%.
Did I pee myself?
Well, you know.
Good Lord.
Here's where the 5% lost me. I hated the creatures.
Okay, I can see that.
And maybe not so much the creatures. I hated that you saw the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like had you been left in the dark about what these things look like, and never actually saw what they're trying to avoid, this movie would have been a perfect movie. It sucks me out of the movie when I see something in a realistic scenario that I know does not exist. Because I don't know what they would have put in its place, but you're walking around in this world that is whatever happened, and you can't make any noise, because if you make noise, then this happens. And again, I don't know what they could have replaced it with, but the creatures, I just hated that you... Even the creatures were fine. I hated that you saw the creatures. But I do love that the movie started on day 89. And throughout the movie, it's like day 450 and day so on and so forth. I liked that part. That it didn't start on day one, and this is the explosion that happened that wiped out the whole world. It was, these guys are already 90 days into shit going on. What do you think of the creature thing? That
I think I loved the story and the premise of the movie so much that I could appreciate the creatures.
Okay.
Granted, seeing them did take me out of it a little bit. However, I loved that you didn't see them full on until the very end. I loved that it was not like the shot from what was the Cloverfield, the shot from Cloverfield where you first see the monster.
Yeah.
Like you actually see the monster. They're looking up at it and it's goofy stupid looking back at you.
Yeah.
I love that you don't get that shot. You actually see this thing in action. You see what's going on. And really the one piece, I don't want to say that I didn't like it. I was intrigued by it, was towards the end they're in the basement and you see the thing's face doing like
the contorting kind of weird
using its face to kind of increase or enhance its auditory senses.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by that.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
And because, you know, you don't know what these creatures are. You don't know what they're capable of. You know that they can hear sound apparently from miles and miles away.
Yeah, they're blind, but they can...
And they're fast as shit.
Yeah.
But I love what you said, that you don't... or you love these creatures until you really see them. And at that point, you kind of get a fork in the road of, is this thing like the most god-awful, stupidest thing that I've ever seen? Or does it really kind of work within this realm or this universe? And I felt like it really worked within the universe.
I didn't think they were stupid looking.
Right.
I just didn't buy it.
And that's fair. And that's, you know, that's obviously your opinion. I felt like I have trouble vocalizing my thoughts on those things, because what you can picture in your mind is so much more terrifying than whatever somebody can put in your... or put on screen, you know, and that's why people tell you that books are so terrifying, because what kind of fucked up shit is going on in your head when you're reading it, or when you're reading Pet Sematary, to where you see something like this and you think, okay, well, that's somebody's messed up version of a Resident Evil monster that can hear really well.
And A Quiet Place is based off a book, which I didn't know. It's an adaptation.
I didn't know that either.
An adaptation. So I might have to hunt that down.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great thing to read.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to, and I'm trying to remember what you had said. Crap, I had it and I lost it. Pickle. All right, we'll move on.
I will tell you also that, and we may have touched on this already, but it does take you on a roller coaster of emotions because there's moments where I wouldn't call it a horror film, by the way. But it does take you on a roller coaster of emotions as far as like it's really tension filled, and there are scary moments. But there's a moment where I looked over at my wife and she was fucking crying, and I'm sure you can guess that moment as well. But there were a handful of moments where I looked over at my wife during the movie because I do that when I take her to these kind of movies. I'm gonna look over there just to see like what kind of fucked up experience she's having right now. And there were like a handful of moments where you looked over there and you could tell like something just wrecked her whole day.
The answer is you.
Exactly. Yeah. The answer is always me. But that's why I like to take her to these kind of movies as well, because I don't always experience those emotions. I'm kind of very like, when it comes to these kind of movies, the emotion in me is kind of gone. There's no more I'm scared. There's no more I'm, going to cry at this moment or that moment. But she will, and I will experience it through her. Definitely, it was one of those movies where, again, I looked over and there was a few times where I was like, "Oh man, I just wrecked her whole day." so yeah. But you wrote something down. Did something click?
Kind of, yeah. Touching back to what you had talked about with horror films, kind of getting their due now with like Get Out. I know you had mentioned mentioned that more along the lines of comedy going horror, but I think you can talk about this in the same light of I feel like Get Out has turned something on horror movies, and we're going to start to see a lot more horror movies in the Hollywood light of, okay, this is brilliant writing, or this is fantastic cinematography and things like that. And I think A Quiet Place should be on the docket for next year for something.
Yeah, for sure. Adaptation at least.
Exactly. And I love that that's going to be a possibility, because horror has been such can we call it misunderstood?
Yeah.
We can call it misunderstood. A misunderstood genre of, teenagers out in the woods banging each other and then getting hacked and slashed and all that. And it's really more than that. And yeah, there are those campy type slasher movies, but there are those fantastic pot-boiling suspense, smart, suspenseful thriller type horror movies where it really kind of sucks you in, and you have to deal with that. Whereas, you watch a Friday the 13th and you can, that's your popcorn film.
Formula.
That is your popcorn film right there. Yeah. This is not, A Quiet Place is not a popcorn film.
Not at all.
So I love that it's starting to take a little bit of a turn, and I thank you, Jordan Peele, for coming and doing, I say that like he was just on the show. Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be cool.
I thank Jordan Peele for giving us a movie like Get Out and showing the Hollywood world or the foreign press or the Academy or whoever votes on these movies that horror can be a contender. It can go up against movies like La La Land, and it can go up against movies like the fuck one this year.
Shape of Water won, but it was that genre.
I would throw that in there. A fantasy horror.
Yeah,
I would throw that in there. Absolutely, horror is going to make a comeback here.
Yeah,
and I think we're starting to see the first contenders coming in.
Yeah,
so be ready, people. Horror is about to get big.
Again, I'm gonna piggytail off that one more time. Because it makes, for me, when I see a movie like that, it makes me as a filmmaker and as filmmakers, it makes you go, okay, is that against the rules? That's not formula? but we have to write like this and this, and then that happens in A, B, C, D, and you got to write the formula. And when they veer off and they go completely against formula, you go, is that against the rules? Is that okay to do? Is it okay to take a horror movie and not go this way, but instead go that way? And when you see it like Get Out again in a Quiet Place, because those are the only examples I have, but even like a movie like Hush, which I loved, it makes you go, it's okay. It's okay to go that way once in a while. Not everybody wants to see blood and guts and gore anymore. Hardcore horror fans do, but there are those horror fans out there, and I'm not saying those hardcore gory ones are not this way, but there are horror films out there that people that are not necessarily into the genre, that it's a safe place to go. And that's the Get Outs and the Quiet Places. Like, it's okay to go in that direction for this genre or this fan of this genre. It makes you want to write smarter too.
It really does. And we've been studying film watching for God knows how long now. Stupid amount of years. More time than we probably care to.
We should be better at this than we are.
we're getting there. But the one thing that I've noticed, at least, is in all the things that I've read, all the tutorials that I've watched, all the classes that I've taken, is that there are rules out there for making a successful film, and the rules are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get in there, make a film A, B, C, D, and E, and it should be a success as long as somebody wants to buy it and all that. But you get those people like the Jordan Peels and the John Krasinskis and thousands of others that have done it that are willing to break the rules. They
skip a few letters.
Exactly, yeah. They go straight to E, F, and Z.
Yeah.
They're willing to break those rules, and they're the names that stand out. Tim Burton, Ridley Scott, the guy that did 2001: A Space Odyssey. I can't think of his name. Stanley Kubrick. Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Those are the people that stand out, are the people that break the rules, and they do it so blatantly goddamn obvious on screen that you're just sitting there like, why has nobody ever done this before? Well, people have, but I think they either get scared or they lose their funding or I don't know what. Yeah. But these are the people that are doing the rule breaking, and they're doing it right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what John Krasinski does as both an actor and a director from here on.
Sci-fi thriller is that's the next project he's attached to. As
really?
A writer, director, sci-fi thriller.
Okay.
And then I did read, and this could be bullshit news, but I did read him and Emily Blunt are semi-attached to be in the new Fantastic Four movie. Is that bullshit news?
I think those are rumors.
Okay.
I'd be interested. I'd be intrigued to see that.
Okay.
But I saw it was the two of them, and I want to say John Cena was supposed to be
that'd be ruining it.
So I think those are just rumors. But
could The Rock play?
He probably could. I don't.
Sorry.
know. So let's hit the wrap up bit here.
Yeah, what would you give as a score?
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I would give that a probably a solid 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.
9.
Yeah,
that's I think that's fair.
9 for A Quiet Place.
Go and see A Quiet Place. Go and see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And I pray that you have the same experience that we both had of people just shutting up and actually watching the movie. Mm-hmm. But go and see it in theaters because it's definitely worth it. So let's wrap it and plug it.
Plugs?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. My name is Greg the Movie Guy, the most famous movie reviewer you have never heard of. I write movie reviews over at gregthemovieguy.com, and I do it with a positive spin. Most recently, I will be dropping, Employee of the Month, because we all have guilty pleasure movies that we love. This one happens to be one of mine. I will be following that up very soon with the movie we just spoke about, A Quiet Place. And it's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to get really high ratings. And everybody's going to love it. Drop by gregthemovieguy.com and see what you've been missing.
Oh, fuck. There was not enough time there, Greg.
In a world where Josh sits flicking through his phone trying to find something.
I'm trying to find something kind of important because I feel like, it should be mentioned. So I'm going to do this while I'm searching, and hope to God it comes up. So, plugs. The Prairie Lights Film Festival. Grand Island, Nebraska. Did I just blow it out?
Yes.
Yeah. I get excited. Grand Island, Nebraska. Prairie Lights Film Festival at the Grand Theater, October 12th, 13th, and 14th. Everybody should go. It's a Nebraska-made film festival for Nebraska filmmakers. Even if you're not a Nebraska filmmaker, you should go. If you're in Nebraska at the time,
I will be there.
Fun fucking time.
I will be there over my anniversary, so you have no excuses.
So there's that. It's a very good time. It's just $10 for a whole weekend. It's full of events and filmmakers. If you're an aspiring filmmaker or if you're just a movie fan, come out. The filmmakers are always there. They like to talk. They like to talk about their movies. They want to talk about your movie. They want to talk about every movie. So if nothing else, come out and pick their brains and ask them questions. Network if you're a filmmaker, aspiring filmmaker. Come out and hang out and talk. It's a fantastic weekend. The other thing I'm going to plug really quick, because we did get it right, April 26th through May 6th. It's a Thursday through Sunday at the Haymarket Theater. They're doing Noises Off. It is a funny-ass script. It's a fantastic cast. Tom does a very, very awesome job. Patrick's out there building the set right now. Everybody's down there kicking ass and working hard. Go down there, get a ticket. You can call the box office for a ticket. Go support theater as well. Support the arts just in general. Yeah, go seek out that show. If you need the information again, call the box office, and they have a Facebook events thing as well. So, yeah, those are my 2 plugs.
All right. If you're looking for more from the boys behind the mic, you can find us at places and things. And my phone, I swear to God, I'm going to put my phone
We're at midnightfrightfilms.com.
I was getting to that point. Midnightfrightfilms.com. You can find us on Facebook at Midnight Fright Films. You can find us on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's Midnight Fright Films, but don't hold me to that because my phone is being a gigantic pile of douche right now.
You can find us on YouTube at
You
Midnight
can find
Fright
us on
Films as
YouTube.
well.
Midnight Fright Films on Instagram. We're all over the place. I don't think we're on Twitter, but that's really okay because Twitter sucks.
We don't do the tweet.
We don't tweets. Twatting is for tweets. Tweeting is for
Yeah.
twats. Whatever you want to say it. That is it for episode 29. Josh, we are back. We are back, baby. We are back.
Next time we're back, we'll have at least a third, if not hopefully a fourth, to help us out.
Absolutely. But until then, this has been Greg the Movie Guy and Josh the guy sitting across from Greg the Movie Guy. And this is the end of the Midnight Fright Cast, episode 29.
Up top.
Up top.